Hi, my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA, an Orlando, Orange County-based Social Security disability law firm. And I wanted to take a moment to address kind of the whole COVID-19 situation, specifically with how it's going to affect Social Security disability benefits. So what it equates to is this. Instead of having traditional hearings where you go in front of a judge, instead of having the non-traditional hearings, which is where you have what's called the VTC, with the NHC, a video teleconference hearing with the National Hearing Center, which is where you go in and you look at a TV monitor or a monitor with a computer, and you'll see the judge there, and you do it through a TV or a monitor. So instead of having one in person or through a monitor, what they're mostly doing right now is they're basically doing what's called telephonic hearings. Telephonic hearings are where the judge will go ahead and reach out to the attorney, and then the judge will go ahead and reach out to the claimant, and basically they'll go ahead and do a hearing telephonically. The reason for this is to keep everybody separated. That means the judge is in one area, the claimant is one area, and the representative of the attorney is one area. And what that equates to is that basically that way there's not going to be an issue of sharing the potential of getting the COVID-19 virus. So with that said, there are certain limitations that are going on right now with that particular service, which is if the claimant requires to have a translator, then the expectation is that the translator goes on one phone, the attorney and the claimant go on one phone, and the judge goes on another phone, and the vocational expert goes on another phone, which equates to a total of 4 lines, which is what they're able to handle right now per telephonic hearing. So 4 lines. So think, one group is 1 line, and then that's how you get all your 4 lines. So with that said, that's how things are changing in the disability world for COVID-19 when it comes to having hearings. Now, when it comes to filing, you're not going to be going to a lot of offices. So your options are basically to file by paperwork, to file online, to file over the phone, to file for Social Security disability benefits. But you're not going to be going to your attorney's law firm office because your attorney is not going to want to potentially get the virus himself or herself. With that said, other things that change this whole scenario. When it comes to interacting with your attorney, a lot of it's not going to be in person. So when it's over the phone, keep in mind when it comes to filling out forms, sometimes you'll have questions. You'll have to basically not, be in front of your attorney going through each and every little option. You'll have to go through specifically which ones you had difficulty with. So you have to be a little bit more prepared as a claimant ahead of time to go ahead and get some answers. Also, throughout this process, the attorneys are going to be more busy with their law firms responding via phone to people. So instead of people coming in and having that shared kind of some people are in, some people are calling, all that jazz, instead what you're having are the attorneys mostly being overbooked with phone calls coming in, which means that they don't have as many employees. Which means that they have front office employees doing back office work when it comes to taking phone calls coming in, but still it just seems like right now there's more people calling than anything than before. Okay. Also, another thing when it comes to appeals counsel work, when it comes to ALJ work and all that stuff, things have slowed down a bit. There was also, I'll talk about that in another video, but because of the COVID-19 virus, everything slowed down because the SSA, when it first came out, had to figure out how they were going to handle this. And what they did was they basically blocked everybody from going to a governmental building. They wouldn't even let the hearing reporters in. Only the clerks of the judges, the administrative staff, and the judges were allowed to go in there. So that's basically what it comes down to. So then there was the whole question of, okay, are the ALJs going to be doing hearings from home? Are the ALJs going to have to go to the office to be able to do the hearings? Because, if you lose an ALJ, you lose a lot because you're slowing down the process immensely. Now, a lot of the administrative law judges are not super kosher with the idea of having to do hearings at home because that pushes them one step closer to the SSA just saying, okay, we're just going to do some giant national hearing center and not have all these regional offices, and everybody's just going to have to go through a telephonic or go through one of these VTC situations, and we're no longer going to have judges in their particular geographic areas. So that's a little worrisome from the judge's perspective. There's all these things going on that COVID-19, coronavirus, is causing. And based upon that, it's a situation where, I understand a lot of you are upset, worried, or whatever. That's fine. Shoot me messages, put them in the link, or put them in the bottom. I'll see if I can respond with what's changing due to COVID-19, and then we'll go from there. Now, the next video I'm going to make is basically after 7 years of doing this stuff, now that I have COVID-19 here, I'm taking a little moment for myself to kind of address things on YouTube as to what it was like for me to go ahead and go through this process of starting a law firm over a 7-year process. If you want to check that out, that's fine, but it's mostly geared towards young attorneys that are younger than me thinking about starting up their own firm. And the reason why is because these big box firms are kind of like Lowe's and Home Depot, where they've killed off pretty much most of the other types of, let's call them warehouse places or home improvement places that are out there. There's Ace left, but most places have been killed off at this point. So with that said, without these little, younger attorneys starting their firms to go ahead and compete against the big firms, you'd just be stuck with big box firms, which in my opinion gives some of, if not the worst service per claimant out of any potential legal environment that exists. Other than, and you have to take this with a grain of salt, the free legal aid that's sometimes provided because they don't have the resources to do full-on representation, full-on, so on and so forth. So it's just not in the cards for that type of group to aggressively represent somebody because they're not financially attached to it. All right, what else? You okay there, buddy? Got foot stuff? We're going to be doing that video next, so I'll catch you a little bit later. Any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I know things are screwed up because of coronavirus. That's okay. I have questions. I have answers. Same deal. Reach out to me. I'll give you whatever I know. All right? Thanks so much. Attorney Walter Hnot. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.